Governor Holcomb pushes pause on the state's reopening plan.
This virus is on the prowl, and it's moving even within our borders in different counties in our state, different positivity rates. And we are living on virus time, so to speak.
Not the surge seen in other states, and the governor wants to keep it that way. Indiana is taking a cautious step forward into stage 4.5 and not 5 just yet.
But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think that, the whole point of going slow was to make sure that we really understood how the epidemiology changed. So expectation that we're going to be seeing more numbers. We're going to be seeing more cases.
And RTV6 is working for you and getting results. After a series of reports from Kara Kenny, the state says it will release information on long-term care facilities that we and many families have asked for.
We are going to report facility-specific COVID-19 data.
The News at 5 starts right now.
And a day of big developments as the state takes steps to further slow the spread of coronavirus so the surge seen elsewhere does not happen here.
It takes on even more importance as nationally another big increase in new cases today. The CDC reports more than 43,600. The steps taken here are being watched closely by medical professionals, business owners, all of us with a stake in how this plays out. We have team coverage tonight on multiple facets of this developing story. Let's begin with RTV6's Cameron Riddle explaining the governor's announcement this afternoon to pause the reopening process. Good afternoon, Cameron.
Good afternoon, Mark. Governor Holcomb and State Health Commissioner Dr. Box say they are not blind to the increasing numbers of coronavirus cases that are popping up across the country and, yes, here in Indiana. Because of that, they are now slowing plans that were scheduled to have us move into stage 5 this weekend, and instead we will move slowly forward to step 4.5. Governor Holcomb says stage 4.5 will allow for outdoor events like festivals, parades, and fairs to operate as scheduled, but with reduced capacity. The same goes for restaurants and places of business that were scheduled to operate at full capacity starting this weekend. Instead, for the next 2 weeks, nightclubs and bars will be limited to 50% capacity and restaurants at 75%. The governor says the slowdown is clearly needed after simply looking at the data.
Volatility that we see even in some areas of our own state, but especially around the country and especially around our own borders, is of concern. And that's what's given us pause to push pause in some areas.
Now, with that volatility comes the concern about reopening schools, as many school districts around the state, thousands of kids right here in central Indiana, are preparing to go to school in less than 30 days. So what should parents and school districts prepare to do now that the state is slowing things down? I asked that question to the governor, and I'll share his answer with you coming up tonight on the News at 6. Live at the State House, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And in making their decisions, the governor and health commissioner, Dr. Christina Box, keep a close eye on hospitalizations and ICU bed and ventilator availability. This graph charts the daily COVID-19 hospital census for several weeks. Dr. Box noted today the numbers had been trending down until the last week or so. They hit a low of 595 on June 26th, but numbers have once again increased. As of today, 668 Hoosiers are hospitalized for COVID-19. And an intensive care unit and ventilator capacity remains steady. More than 39% of ICU beds and nearly 83% of ventilators are available. Of the ICU beds in use, only 9.5% are in use for COVID patients, and only 3.5% of ventilators are being used by COVID patients. And more numbers will soon be available for Hoosiers after months of pressure from Call 6 Investigates. The state makes a shocking announcement. It will now publish where people are dying in Indiana nursing homes and where the outcomes are occurring. The decision comes after a series of reports from our Kara Kenny, who joins us now in studio with the new plan underway. Kara.
Thank you, Amanda. As you know, we've been asking since April for the state to publish nursing home data broken down by facility. Families with loved ones in nursing homes have asked us for this information, but the state has refused time and time again, citing privacy concerns. Today, state leaders changed their stance and will now create a dashboard with all the information we've been asking for. The state says they will build a dashboard that will allow the public to see where COVID cases have occurred, how many deaths, including residents and staff, as well as the demographics of those involved. They will post deaths that happened all the way back to March 1st. They hope to have the data gathered by mid-July and then make it available a few weeks later, so later this summer. The state's Family and Social Services Chief Medical Officer did not mention anything about pressure from WRTV when he explained why they're taking this step now.
Recently, both the largest associations that represent long-term care facilities and AARP, who advocates for the residents in these facilities, have expressed their support of providing facility-level information. As we have all learned, responding to this pandemic requires us to continually evaluate our approaches and, when appropriate, to change them. This is one of those times.
Dr. Dan Rosiniak says at the peak of the pandemic, they were focused on testing and infection control. At the time, they thought it was best to allow nursing homes to provide the information directly to families rather than sending it to the general public. Back to you.
Our Kara Kenny with that developing story tonight. Today, the state launched a new campaign urging all Hoosiers to wear their masks. It's called Mask Up Hoosiers. Our team coverage continues with RTV6's Nicole Griffin live tonight explaining why the state is launching this new campaign now. Nicole.
Mark, the biggest goal with this new campaign is to encourage the younger generation, those who may not watch the news and are just on social media, to mask up, to wear their masks out in public. Now, take a look at this video campaign just released today. It features several people, including our Rafael Sanchez, holding signs that say why they are wearing a mask and who they are wearing it for. Whether it is to protect their parents, friends, or family members, state leaders are asking Hoosiers to not just think about your own life, but to think about all of the people you love and you don't want to lose. Dr. Christina Box, the state health commissioner, spoke today saying wearing masks and practicing social distancing can help protect you and others from the virus.
One thing I hope is that individuals watch the news every night and they see what's happened in other states where there hasn't been social distancing and there hasn't been mask wearing. And I hope that we start to take to heart that Indiana could very easily be in that same situation in the next 2 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks if we don't take this to heart.
Leaders say they hope when Hoosiers hear reports about hospitalization rates starting to increase and see other states experiencing a surge in cases, it will encourage them to do their part, work together, and wear a mask out in public. Now, I do have my mask here. It's right on my arm, but I am a distance away from my photographer and out in the open, and I want you to be able to hear what I'm saying. You'll see it right here live tonight on Mass Ave. Some businesses even have signs out that say masks required. You can buy them right inside this store here on Mass Ave. Now, Governor Holcomb tells me it may be inconvenient. He hears that over and over. It's inconvenient to wear a mask, but he says it could help save lives. Working for you live tonight, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Nicole, thank you. A few more numbers that we watch closely as it relates to the spread of the virus in Indiana. 8 more deaths reported today, half as many as yesterday. That brings the statewide total to 2,456. And the statewide total of coronavirus cases is approaching 46,000. The State Department of Health reported 371 positive cases of the virus today, down slightly from Tuesday.
And experts want to make sure Hoosiers are still doing all they can to flatten the curve, especially now. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain what could be next and the key to staying open.
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think that, the whole point of going slow was to make sure that we really understood how the epidemiology changed. So what's the rate of new cases that we're going to see? Expectation that we're going to be seeing more numbers. We're going to be seeing more cases.
Dr. Cole Beeler thinks there's a second wave of COVID-19 cases on the way.
We're probably just behind the other states, in my opinion, that a certain amount of increase as we reopen is expected.
He's talking about states like Texas, Arizona, and Florida who have enforced mandatory mask wear and have even ordered some businesses to shut back down.
We might have to shut certain situations down again. So in particular, that might be like bar settings, other communal situations where we see kind of local hot spots starting to flare up.
Karen Stevens and her husband Chris are currently in quarantine after being diagnosed with the coronavirus.
I had nausea, stomach pain, diarrhea. I had a headache for a full week, and no matter what I took, it just would not go away.
Today she feels okay, but she says that can change at any moment. She's experienced a broad range of symptoms: dizziness, a burning sensation in her chest, and just feeling tired in general.
We were eating and we were both like, wait a minute, this doesn't have a taste.
Her sense of smell is gone too, and this is why Dr. Beeler says wearing a mask is absolutely the right thing to do to protect others.
You know, wearing those masks, as I go out in the community, I still am seeing a lot of what seems like doubt around the effectiveness of masks. To me, it's, if you were walking past someone and they sneezed on you without covering your mouth, you would kind of look at them askance. And to me, that's what the masks are. It's just a sign of courtesy that I might be producing aerosols that are infectious just by talking or breathing around you. And because of that, wearing a mask shows that I'm going to try and decrease that as much as I possibly can.
Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And right now, it is unknown whether a person develops long-term immunity after recovering from COVID-19.
Now to the business side of things. You've earned it. That's the name of a new initiative just announced today by Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett. It's a $1 million advertising campaign to start bringing people back to the Circle City. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum explains how it will work and the impact that it could have on area businesses trying to recover from the pandemic.
Local leaders say supporting tourism is one of the best ways to help businesses and cultural centers rebound after the pandemic. It's a regional and statewide marketing campaign with this message.
We are coming back. Indianapolis is coming back.
It's designed to help start bringing people from outside Marion County back to businesses like this. Mayor Hogsett says the state has steadied the rate of COVID-19 cases, so he hopes this will help support restaurants, attractions, music venues, and hotels in Indianapolis. Some business owners say these past few months have been tough, but they've learned to adapt, and they've followed state and CDC guidelines. The owner here at Rooster's Kitchen says he's hopeful Indiana will continue to move forward and avoid a spike in COVID cases like some other states have seen.
I'm hoping that the slow opening that Indiana has chosen will help keep that away and help us avoid that situation. So I'm really proud at the way Indiana's handled it and the way that the Indiana citizens have handled it. And I hope that we don't end up reverting like Florida or Texas is right now.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
The marketing campaign begins Monday and runs through September 7th. The city will pay for it with federal COVID-19 relief funds. Still ahead on the news at 5, pastor punished. The decision regarding a Catholic priest for his words targeting Black Lives Matter protesters.
And the Pacers are a month away from their first game of the summer restart, but will their top player be on the court in Orlando? Victor Oladipo talks about his status.
Temperatures in the forecast, not once, not twice, not 3 times. Find out how many coming up.
Ashley Home Store. This is home.
New at 5, the pastor of a Catholic church in Carmel has been suspended for derogatory comments that he made about Black Lives Matter protesters. The Bishop of Lafayette in Indiana says Father Theodore Rothrock's suspension is a result of the now deleted bulletin article he posted on the website for St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church. In the post, he compared demonstrators to, quote, maggots and parasites. The bishop says it's possible Rothrock will be able to return to a role in the priestly ministry in the future. A reminder, tomorrow RTV6, along with our partners at Radio 1, will air a virtual town hall called A Conversation on Race, Connecting Central Indiana. The panelists will discuss where we are right now, how to move forward, and how to deal with interactions with law enforcement. It will air from 7 until 8 p.m. right here on RTV6 and on our digital platforms as well.
If the schedule continues as planned, the Pacers will restart the 2020 season 1 month from today. And the team is mostly back here in Indy for practice this week. Workouts are gradually getting back in motion. And the players are allowed only individual workouts at this point. They will get to do some full practices after getting to Orlando. Victor Oladipo played very well in the weeks before the COVID-19 shutdown. And he said today, though, that he's still not completely sure he'll get back in game action this summer.
All I can control is here now, and that's what I'm focused on doing. And I just want to make sure that I feel great and I'm at 100% when I'm out there, because, you know, if I go out there and I'm not 100% and I don't look good, y'all will be writing that I don't look good. So I'm going to make sure that I feel good so I have something good for y'all to write. It's not about now, about longevity. Because at the end of the day, you know, I want to be able to continue to have these calls with you guys. Because God forbid something happens, you know, I mean, I have that opportunity again. So I'm just trying to do what's best for my future.
The Pacers are scheduled to open their restart schedule on August 1st. Again, all of these games will be played on the Wide World of Sports campus at Disney World in Florida. 8 games over a 14-day stretch, and then the playoffs would begin on August 16th. Kevin.
Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, and it seems like it just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter, but this is the way things are supposed to be in July, Kevin.
Up we go. Temperatures, they'll peak, it looks like, on Monday. We've had 3 days so far, 4 days. Today's the 4th where we've hit 90 or above, and we'll add to that significantly. Farmers Market, it's every Wednesday, but not at City Market because of nearby construction. It is now in Monument Circle, 9:30 to 1:30. Turned out to be a great day for the Farmers Market today. Next week, temperatures will be warm. Hopefully everything is in the shade for that. Let's talk about our temperatures here. We hit 90. We've backed off a little bit. We're at 86 degrees. That wind is out of the east-southeast. It will eventually come to the northeast, and that will help us a bit in the humidity department. As far as our temperatures around the region, most areas hit 90 degrees, came very close to it. Then the cumulus field of clouds kind of took over. Martinsville and Columbus still at 90 right now. Indianapolis is mentioned 86, 88 in Sullivan. As far as our rain, and I did this on purpose, I zoomed in because I thought we might get a few that pop up, and they have in Hendricks County, south of 36, just north of US 40. So between Avon and Plainfield, another near Danville, then the northwest portion of Hendricks County. They'll be very isolated this evening. We're going to change our focus away from rain chances and more toward the temperature. Rain chances down, temperatures go up. Humidity slightly lower, but we'll take any victory in that department, and certainly we'll get that as we go over the next couple of days. There are your rain chances, very low. Dry is the forecast, really. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back to a chance for some thunderstorms on Sunday, but that's only a 20% chance. The next 7 days, we'll be at 90 or above. So it looks like we've got a chance to run off a week straight of temperatures at 90 or above. 4th of July weekend, 93 Saturday and Sunday. There are the temperatures tomorrow. 90 with a mixture of clouds and sunshine, and the wind relatively light out of the north and east. Terre Haute, Bloomington, Columbus, foreshadowing temperatures for Friday and the weekend. Thursday, wind forecast out of the east-northeast, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. That helps keep the humidity down a bit. Temperatures rising as we get to the end of the work week and the beginning of the holiday weekend. Temperatures in the low 90s, and your 7-day planner. Twin 93-degree temperatures Saturday and Sunday. Monday up to 94. That should be our peak temperature. Then we're still in the 90s Tuesday and Wednesday. That chance for thunderstorms creeps back into the forecast early next week, rising a little bit by the middle of next week. We'll be right back with more news right after this.
Keller and Keller. Right now.
Welcome back. As we've been talking about today, the daily COVID numbers are getting worrisome around the country. So as businesses reopen, which are the safest to visit, which are the most risky? Consumer reporter John Matarese has the latest cautions from the CDC so you don't waste your money.
With COVID-19 surging again in some areas, many people are reconsidering their outside activities. So we have a list from the experts of the most and least risky things that you can do. You've probably seen the pictures of busy beaches and packed bars, but only one of them is high risk for COVID, according to the CDC. The Centers for Disease Control says the following are low-risk activities: outdoor walking or running, outdoor dining, as long as you're 6 feet from other tables, sitting on beaches, and swimming in pools. Listed as medium risk: getting a haircut, but both customer and stylist must wear masks, working out in a gym, staying in a hotel, flying, as long as everyone wears a mask, and visiting elderly parents. But from the doesn't that stink file, the high-risk activities that can spread the virus quickly. The CDC warns against large gatherings anywhere, indoor parties, and bars and nightclubs where patrons are close together, especially without masks, which gets back to our first question. It's bars, not beaches, that are high risk. Bottom line, if you avoid close contact with other people, you boost your chances of staying safe and you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
Still ahead at 5:30, stimulus money is supposed to keep the healthcare system afloat during this pandemic. Then why is the healthcare system closing facilities and laying off workers? Call 6 Investigates is looking into it in just a few minutes at 5:30.